story gives us an opportunity to connect our head and our heart into the experience that we're having, such that it can give us meaning.
Well, certainly Columbine has been in the limelight for the last 5 years, and I think people look to Columbine as a model, as a way to deal with school violence, and also the healing process that is ongoing.
So I had an opportunity to work with the staff and teachers at Columbine High School after the terrible tragedy. And the question that they were asking was, why Columbine? And all I could offer was a question back, why not Columbine?
I think her message was really one that we are all susceptible to tragedy, and that it takes everyone to help in the healing process and to move forward in a real positive direction.
How do we find some love in this life? How do we express our competence? How do we find the courage to overcome the challenges that we experience like Columbine? How do we raise our children to be competent and loving with empathy? And that was a common story that we began to see. So my coaching to them had to do with the basic role of the elders. You know, there's no instruction manual on school shootings.
When Opalanga came to Columbine, she really did bring the message and the framework that we are all elders and that we all play a part in the healing process.
To learn from your experience, be able to pass it on with some wisdom such that it can encourage others.
For the first anniversary at Columbine High School, many people were willing to come in and share their wisdom and help with the healing process. But we chose a very select group to come in a very private and intimate setting, and certainly Opalanga was one of those people that we wanted to invite back and help us to continue through her wisdom and her powerful message.
Even today in our modern society, I mean, it's stories that help counselors speak to the soul, that ministers speak of the spiritual life, of journalists to tell a story beyond the fact.
Opalanga's message certainly brought it to the surface that it's everybody's responsibility.
Anytime we exchange stories, there is always a gift given. And one of the most profound gifts that we can give is the gift of committed attention.
When my husband died a year ago, out of the blue, Opalanga showed up at my house, and she sat with me and prayed with me, brought me a wonderful candle to light, tea to drink, and herbs to use that would bring solace to me at a very difficult time.
One of the most powerful stories we ever tell is the one we tell about ourselves and who we are, how we see the world, our place within it. Everyone yearns to be heard. And it's in that hearing of each other's story profoundly that we can come back to the base that we're really all one.
Every family has a story. You are here because there are people who came before you, and you need to honor them and rever their stories.
We are living in a time of not only the great sorting of stories, but redefining our stories, of restorying ourselves. So who I am as a storyteller, as a griot, is one who is committed for the healing empowerment, and celebration of the human spirit.
Opalanga shares her story, and she makes people feel like they are a part of the story.
When I think of Opalanga, I actually think of family.
Her very presence exudes a spirit which is strong and comforting and healing. I consider her to be the mother of African culture and community throughout this city.
I want Opalanga to know that through her work, that through her love and her zeal for community and for peace, that she makes a difference.
I don't think she can call what she does a profession. I think it is a calling.
That's the impact that one individual can have on an entire community. How do you bring all of the components together and have them working harmoniously to build a beautiful community or paint a beautiful picture? Opalanga is that glue. She's that brush.
The way we keep the story going is that we show up for life. We tell our story, our experience, our knowledge, our woundings and our healings, our dreams, our successes and our failures, our fortunes won and lost. We speak our story, we share who we are and where we are, because that's what it means to be human. Once upon a time, a man and his son went on a long journey. The road was long and hot and hard, and sometimes they thirsted for water, they hungered for food, sometimes the rocks hurt their feet, sometimes they could barely identify the road, but it was always there. And as they approached the village of their destination, they decided to take shade under a great tree. And just as they were about to sit down, the father noticed an old man and an old woman coming down the dusty road. He jumped up, he went to the old man and the old woman, and he said, Asante sana, Mzee. Thank you, elders, for your assistance on our journey today. And the old man smiled, and the old woman nodded, and went down the dusty road. When the father came back and sat next to his son said, Baba, why do you thank that old man and that old woman? Today, our journey was long and hot and hard, and the rocks hurt my feet, and I thirsted for water. And that old man and that old woman were not there to help us. And the father said, yes, son, it's true. Today I felt the heat. I felt the thirst and the hunger, and the rocks hurt my feet. But did you notice, child, that times when we could barely identify the road, it was always there? The son said, yes, Baba. He said it was the feet of that man, the feet of that woman, and those like them, and those who came before them, who created such a path. So remember, my child, and hold it in your heart very dear. It is those who came before us who made it possible for us to be here. The Storyteller.